Hi, it's Vernon again. Today, I'm going to share 5 things that women after 60 should never accept from any man, no matter how charming, how needy, or how lonely you might be feeling. These aren't just relationship tips. They're boundaries that could mean the difference between golden years filled with peace and joy. You know, there's something profound about how our tolerance for poor treatment often changes as we age. In our younger years, we might have hoped love could change someone. But after 60, life's math changes. Time becomes precious, energy more valuable. You can no longer afford to waste your years on relationships that drain rather than uplift you. Is there anyone watching this who hasn't subscribed yet? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure to turn on notifications. This way, you'll never miss any new insights or advice that can truly improve your life. We're diving into some critical lessons that can guide you toward healthier, happier relationships, so don't miss out. Let's dive into the first thing you should never accept from any man after 60.
Thing number 1. Never accept disrespect disguised as honesty. One of the most dangerous traps women after 60 can fall into is accepting disrespect disguised as honesty or being straightforward. We've all heard phrases like, "I'm just being honest with you," or "I don't sugarcoat things." But sometimes these words are just a cover for rudeness or even emotional manipulation. Real honesty doesn't belittle, hurt, or diminish someone's worth. True honesty should be delivered with kindness, respect, and care, not as an excuse to impose hurtful opinions or criticisms. At this stage in life, you've earned the wisdom to know that honesty doesn't have to come at the expense of your dignity. I witnessed something that I'd seen too often, but never fully understood. My neighbor Eleanor, a 67-year-old retired librarian, began dating Thomas, a man who prided himself on being brutally honest. Thomas would constantly criticize Eleanor's appearance, her cooking, her housekeeping, her opinions, always followed by, "I'm just being honest with you," or "I'm trying to help you improve." Eleanor, who had spent decades being respected as a professional and valued as a community member, gradually began to doubt herself. She started apologizing for things that didn't require apologies, changing her behavior to avoid his criticism, and accepting his harsh words as somehow necessary for her growth. Disrespect disguised as honesty. At our age, we've lived long enough to know the difference between constructive feedback and destructive criticism. We've earned the right to be spoken to with kindness, consideration, and respect. He regularly makes cutting remarks about your appearance, abilities, or choices. He dismisses your feelings as too sensitive when you object to his words. He claims he's helping you by pointing out your flaws. He never seems to have positive observations, only corrections. To protect yourself from disrespect disguised as honesty, set clear boundaries early on. If someone frequently criticizes or belittles you under the guise of being honest, address it directly. Let them know that constructive feedback is welcome, but it must be delivered with respect and care, not as an excuse to impose hurtful opinions or criticisms. Surround yourself with people who treat you with kindness. And remember, you don't need to tolerate negativity from anyone, no matter how truthful they claim to be. Stand firm in your self-worth. You deserve to be treated with dignity at every stage of life. Set clear boundaries about how you will and will not be spoken to. A man who respects you will adjust his communication style. A man who doesn't will reveal his true character through his resistance to treating you with dignity. This disrespect often extends beyond words into something even more dangerous, the realm of financial control and exploitation, which we will explore shortly. But first, ask yourself, are you tolerating harsh words because you're afraid of losing companionship? Your peace of mind is far more valuable than any relationship that demands you endure disrespect.
Thing number 2, never accept financial exploitation or control. Finances are a particularly sensitive and important matter that require careful consideration, especially as you age. Dorothy, my cousin, had a comfortable pension and savings. When she met Richard, he appeared financially stable and generous. However, over time, Richard began to involve himself in Dorothy's financial decisions. He persuaded her to add his name to her checking account for convenience, encouraged her to lend money to his adult children, and eventually convinced her to refinance her fully paid-off home to help fund his business venture. Within 2 years, Dorothy had lost her financial independence and was dependent on Richard for basic living expenses. What started as love and trust had become financial captivity. This pattern of disrespect we just discussed often reveals itself most clearly in one specific area: money. Because financial control is one of the most effective ways to diminish someone's independence and self-worth. At our age, we've worked decades to build our security. We've earned the right to make our own financial decisions without pressure, manipulation, or guilt from anyone. The ancient Roman philosopher Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor." A man who truly loves you will respect your financial autonomy and contribute to your security, not threaten it. So how to recognize financial exploitation? He pressures you to share financial information early in the relationship. He suggests combining finances before marriage or long-term commitment. He has frequent financial emergencies that require your help. He discourages you from consulting with financial advisors or family members about money decisions. He makes you feel guilty for wanting to maintain financial independence. The solution is simple. Keep your finances separate until you are fully confident in someone's character and intentions. It's essential to establish boundaries around money early on, ensuring that your financial well-being remains in your control. A man who truly loves you will not only respect, but support your desire for financial independence and security. On the other hand, if someone pressures you for financial support or tries to blur the lines of financial responsibility, it's a clear sign that their priorities may not align with yours. Trust your instincts, and remember, your financial peace is as important as any other part of the relationship. Take a moment to reflect. Is someone asking you to jeopardize your financial security truly showing love, or are they revealing their true character? Your financial independence is non-negotiable, and you deserve a partner who honors that. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you protect your financial well-being in relationships. Now that we've examined financial exploitation, let's move on to another crucial aspect. Thing number 3, never accept isolation from your support network. Before we continue, let me reflect on what we've discovered so far. We've seen how disrespect erodes your self-worth, and how financial control threatens your independence. Both of these patterns become more dangerous when combined with our next unacceptable behavior, isolation from your support network. This is the third thing women after 60 must never accept: isolation from your support network. As we grow older, our relationships with friends, family, and loved ones take on an even more significant role. These connections aren't just social perks or occasional distractions. They are essential lifelines. They provide us with a sense of security, grounding, and belonging. These are the people who have seen us through our highs and lows, who understand our history, and who offer an objective perspective when we need it the most. When a partner attempts to isolate you from these important people, it's a dangerous sign. They may start subtly by making you feel guilty for spending time with friends or family, or they may make you feel that they are the only one who truly understands you. The truth is, your relationships with your support network have a vital role in protecting your emotional well-being, and any attempt to sever these ties is not love, it's control. A healthy relationship allows you to have both a strong connection with your partner and the freedom to maintain your relationships with others. If someone tries to isolate you from those who care about you, it's a major red flag that shouldn't be ignored. A man who truly loves you will enhance your social connections, not diminish them. To recognize isolation tactics, pay attention to whether he consistently criticizes your friends or family. He creates conflict or drama whenever you have social plans. He demands to know details about your conversations with others. He makes you feel guilty for spending time with anyone else. He gradually increases his expectations for your availability until you have no time for other relationships. Maintaining your social connections is essential, regardless of your partner's comfort level. A healthy partner will encourage and support your friendships and family relationships, understanding that these connections are vital for your well-being. They will trust that your social life doesn't threaten the relationship, but strengthens it. If your partner reacts negatively to your social connections, it's important to recognize this as a red flag. An unhealthy partner might view your relationships with others as a challenge to their control over you. In this case, setting healthy boundaries and ensuring you still nurture relationships with friends and family is crucial for maintaining your independence and personal well-being. This isolation often serves a deeper purpose, making you more vulnerable to emotional manipulation and guilt, which brings us to our next crucial boundary.
Thing number 4. Never accept emotional manipulation or guilt. Emotional manipulation is a tactic that can slowly erode your sense of self-worth and independence. It's the subtle art of making you feel responsible for someone else's feelings or actions. Whether it's using guilt trips to get their way or turning the situation around to make you feel like the bad person, emotional manipulation is never a healthy dynamic in any relationship. It's important to understand that love and care don't come with strings attached. A partner who truly respects you will never make you feel guilty for having your own needs, desires, or boundaries. If you find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid guilt or accusations, it's time to recognize this as manipulation, not love. You deserve to feel supported and valued without the weight of someone else's emotional agenda hanging over you. I witnessed this with my sister Ruth, a 66-year-old woman who had always been strong and independent. When she began dating Harold, he seemed caring and attentive, but whenever Ruth expressed a need, set a boundary, or made a decision he didn't like, Harold would respond with hurt feelings, accusations of selfishness, or threats to end the relationship. Ruth found herself constantly apologizing for having needs, changing her behavior to avoid his emotional outbursts, and walking on eggshells to maintain his approval. At our age, we've learned that healthy relationships involve mutual respect for each other's feelings and boundaries. We've earned the right to have our needs acknowledged without being made to feel selfish or unreasonable. The Greek philosopher Epictetus taught that no one can hurt you without your permission, but what he didn't mention is that emotional manipulators are skilled at making you feel like you're giving permission freely when you're actually responding to carefully crafted pressure. He uses guilt trips when you don't comply with his wishes. He threatens to leave or withdraw affection when you set boundaries. He makes you feel responsible for his emotional state. He portrays himself as the victim when you express your needs. He uses your kindness and empathy against you. So, trust your instincts and maintain your boundaries regardless of his emotional responses. A man who loves you will respect your boundaries even when he's disappointed. A man who manipulates you will escalate his emotional pressure when you don't comply. Remember, we all deserve relationships built on respect and understanding, where our needs and boundaries are valued. Take a moment to share this video with your friends, especially the women in your life. Let's help each other recognize emotional manipulation and build healthier connections together. By standing firm in your boundaries and refusing to accept guilt, you empower yourself to break free from toxic patterns. Which brings us to perhaps the last dangerous thing you should never accept.
Thing number 5. Never accept disregard for your health and well-being. This isn't just about physical health. It's about emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. At our age, when health becomes increasingly precious, anyone who compromises it is literally shortening your life. Our health is undeniably our most valuable asset, something that we often take for granted until it's at risk. When someone asks you to compromise your health for their comfort or convenience, they are essentially asking you to sacrifice your future well-being for their immediate desires. This is particularly important as we age, especially when we reach our 60s and beyond. At this stage of life, our bodies don't have the same resilience they once did, and recovery from health setbacks can take longer, or in some cases may not be fully possible. We no longer have the luxury of endless opportunities to bounce back. One way to recognize if he disrespects your health is by noticing how he responds to your well-being. He pressures you to disregard medical advice or skip important appointments. He belittles your health concerns, labeling you as a hypochondriac. He causes stress that exacerbates your physical symptoms. He discourages healthy habits like regular exercise, proper nutrition, or getting enough sleep. He even makes you feel guilty for prioritizing your health needs over his demands. Here are a few solutions and steps to take for this situation. Set firm boundaries around your health, making it clear that your well-being comes first. Politely but firmly insist on following medical advice and attending appointments, regardless of his feelings or objections.
Communicate openly about how his actions are affecting your health. Let him know that stress, neglecting healthy habits, and undermining your well-being are harmful to both you and the relationship in the long term. Prioritize self-care and make time for activities that promote your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Engage in exercise, good nutrition, and sleep, regardless of external pressures, and don't feel guilty for doing so. Taking care of your health isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, and those who truly care about you will respect and support your commitment to it, for your well-being today and in the future.
Conclusion. Now that we've reflected on these essential truths, it's time to take action and reclaim the respect and love you deserve in every aspect of your life. Here are 5 things that women after 60 should never accept from any man. Disrespect disguised as honesty that erodes your self-worth. Financial exploitation or control that threatens your independence. Isolation from your support network that makes you vulnerable. Emotional manipulation or guilt that makes you doubt your own needs. And disregard for your health and well-being that literally endangers your life. The Roman philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." At 60 and beyond, you have the power to choose relationships that enhance your life rather than diminish it. You are not too old to have standards. You are not too desperate to maintain boundaries. You are not too late in life to demand respect. The woman you've become through decades of living, loving, and learning deserves nothing less than complete respect, support, and care. If this resonated with you, I encourage you to trust your instincts. If a relationship requires you to accept any of these 5 behaviors, it's not a relationship worth having. Your golden years are meant to be golden, filled with peace, joy, and connections that honor the incredible woman you've become. Like, share, and comment below to spread the word, and subscribe to the channel for more content that celebrates your worth and wisdom. Together, we create a community where every woman knows her value and demands the respect she deserves. Your value is not determined by your relationship status. It's determined by your character, your wisdom, and your refusal to accept less than you deserve. Thank you, and see you again.